Chosen one, this message didn't find you by accident. God led you here for a reason. Recently, you may have felt a nudge in your spirit, a sudden hesitation, or an inner voice telling you not to eat something, physically or spiritually. Maybe you turned down food you were offered, or maybe you sensed that not everything placed before you was meant for your consumption. This isn't just about appetite. It's about discernment, because what you consume, whether it's food, words, relationships, or content, has the power to either strengthen your spirit or weaken it. And when the Spirit told you not to eat it, it wasn't paranoia. It was protection. Let's break this down into 7 chapters so you can fully understand why the warning came. Before we dive deep, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because this message isn't just content. It's a divine confirmation for the chosen ones. And a heartfelt thank you to everyone who's been supporting through Super Thanks. God bless you richly. Your support, your presence, and your faithfulness do not go unnoticed. To all of you who continually watch, listen, and align, I'm truly grateful. If your spirit feels this frequency, type 77 in the comments right now. That number isn't random. It's a sacred signal to the Most High and the universe that you're ready. Ready to obey the Spirit, ready to protect your temple, and ready to walk in the kind of discernment that saves you from hidden traps. Not everyone will make it to the end of this message. Only the truly chosen. Those who stay will gain clarity, deeper awareness, and prophetic insight about why the Spirit told you not to eat something, not to consume it, not to touch it, because it was never meant for you. This isn't something you hear once and forget. This is a living word, a spiritual blueprint unfolding piece by piece. Watch it again whenever your spirit leads you, because each time another layer of divine truth will rise to the surface. Let's dive into it. Chapter 1. Not everything placed before you is for you. Chosen. 1. Not everything placed before you is meant for your spirit, your body, or your destiny. The enemy rarely comes with something that looks like poison. He disguises danger in beauty and destruction in sweetness. He makes the bait look like a blessing. And many fall because they chase what only looks good on the surface. In the garden, Eve didn't fall because the fruit was ugly or rotten. The Bible says it was pleasing to the eye and desirable for gaining wisdom. It looked good. But hidden inside that bite was the seed of destruction. This is how the enemy works. He offers what seems harmless, while hiding consequences that last a lifetime. And remember, if the enemy tempted Eve with something unattractive, she would have walked away. Temptation always comes wrapped in appeal. Just because someone invites you to their table doesn't mean you belong there. Not every hand that feeds you is clean. Not every opportunity is ordained. Some doors are traps painted to look like blessings. Some meals are altars. Some invitations are snares dressed in politeness. This is why you must test every spirit and discern who is really behind the offering. Maybe you've lived this already. You accepted an offer that looked good, but later cost you your peace. You entered a relationship that felt exciting, but secretly pulled you from God. Looking back, you realize the Spirit was whispering, "Don't eat. Don't touch. Don't go there." And the truth is, your spirit knew it, but your flesh wanted it anyway. The Spirit warns you not to rob you of joy, but to protect you from hidden harm. You see the surface, but God sees the motive. You see the invitation, but He sees the intention. You see the meal, but He sees the altar behind it. And when you obey that voice, you walk away from traps you'll never even know existed. Understand this. Some tables are not places of nourishment, but traps. Some gifts are given not to bless you, but to bind you. When the Spirit says don't eat it, He is saving you from consequences you cannot yet see. What feels like rejection today may later reveal itself as the very hand of God saving your life. This isn't only about physical food. What you consume with your eyes and ears also feeds your soul. Some content feeds fear. Some voices feed doubt. Some influences slowly choke your faith. That's why the Spirit tugs at you. Turn it off. Walk away. Don't let this in. Chosen one, that no is not rejection. It is divine protection. Obedience today keeps you free from unnecessary battles tomorrow. What feels small now may save you from massive destruction later. God isn't keeping you from pleasure. He's keeping you for purpose. And the sooner you learn to trust that inner voice, the stronger your discernment will become. Not everything placed before you is for you. And when you refuse what's not yours, you make room for the true blessings and the table God has already prepared for you in the presence of your enemies. That's why obedience is not a burden. It's a shield. Chapter 2. Food can carry spiritual energy. Chosen one, understand this. Food is never just food. In the physical, it nourishes your body. But in the spiritual, it can carry weight, energy, and intention. The Bible reminds us that even under the law, Israel was warned about what they could and could not eat. Why? Because what enters you doesn't just affect your body, it has the power to touch your spirit. We live in a world where not all food is neutral. Sometimes what's prepared is tied to environments, intentions, or even spiritual practices you may know nothing about. There are meals cooked in atmospheres heavy with bitterness, jealousy, or manipulation. There are offerings presented not out of love, but with hidden agendas. And though you may not see it with your eyes, your spirit can feel it. Have you ever been handed a plate and suddenly felt uneasy? Or maybe you sat at a table, and for reasons you couldn't explain, your appetite vanished. That's not random. It's divine discernment. The spirit inside you is sounding the alarm. Just as your body rejects spoiled food with nausea, your spirit rejects contaminated offerings with unrest. Remember Daniel in Babylon. When he was offered the king's rich food, he refused it. Not because it looked unappetizing, but because he knew it carried spiritual implications. The food was tied to pagan practices, and Daniel understood that eating it would compromise his purity before God. His obedience separated him from corruption and elevated him into favor. The same principle applies to you today. Chosen one, this is deeper than diet. It's about discernment. Food can be a physical doorway into spiritual bondage. When someone offers you a plate, they are also offering you a piece of their spirit. The question is, what spirit prepared it? Was it done in love or in envy, in purity or in manipulation? The spirit knows the answer even when you don't. That is why sometimes you feel that inner no so strongly. Understand, the enemy has always used food as a tool of entrapment. From Eve in the garden, to Esau selling his birthright for a bowl of stew, to Jesus being tempted in the wilderness with bread, the pattern repeats. Why? Because food is both sustenance and symbolism. It represents covenant, exchange, and agreement. To share a meal is often to share in spirit. That is why the spirit is so protective over what you consume. Obedience to that small voice separates you from traps others can't detect. What looks harmless to the natural eye may carry invisible chains in the spiritual. And when you walk away, you're not being paranoid, you're being preserved. God protects his chosen ones from ingesting what was never meant for their bodies or their spirits. So the next time the Spirit nudges you to pause before you eat or drink something, don't ignore it. That hesitation is heaven's hand. That uneasiness is God's shield. And your willingness to obey may be the very act that keeps your spirit pure, your body safe, and your destiny intact. Chapter 3. Your body is a temple. Not a dumping ground, chosen one. The Spirit told you not to eat it because your body is not ordinary. It's a temple, and a temple is sacred. It's a dwelling place for the presence of God. That means what you allow inside, whether food, words, or energy, matters deeply. You are not like everyone else. What others consume casually, you must guard carefully, because your body and your spirit are vessels carrying divine assignment. When the Spirit warns you, it's not about restriction, it's about preservation. What you put inside your body affects how clearly you hear God, how steady your emotions remain, and how strong your energy is to carry out the calling on your life. For you, food is not just calories. It is fuel for clarity, for focus, and for spiritual strength. That's why the Spirit often raises your awareness about even the smallest things others ignore. For the chosen, junk food isn't just unhealthy. It can dull discernment. It clouds your sensitivity and makes you sluggish, not only in body but in spirit. The same principle applies beyond physical food. Spiritual toxins can also enter through what you watch, what you listen to, and what you allow into your conversations. Gossip, negativity, and toxic entertainment don't seem like much at first, but they slowly weaken your temple. They don't just touch your mind, they touch your spirit. Think of it this way. If the priest allowed anything defiled into the temple in the Old Testament, it would desecrate the holy place. In the same way, if you allow anything unclean into your body or spirit, it can interfere with the flow of God's presence in your life. You were never created to be a dumping ground for what is cheap, careless, or toxic. You were created to carry glory. To others, it's just casual consumption. To others, it's just entertainment or harmless fun. But to you, it's different. You're chosen. You're called. You're set apart. The very things others indulge in lightly can weaken your clarity, dull your discernment, and pull you off course. That's why you feel uncomfortable in certain environments, why you can't watch what others watch or eat what others eat, or laugh at what others laugh at. It's not about legalism. It's about assignment. Chosen one, God is raising your awareness because your calling requires sharper clarity. He is building you into a vessel that is sensitive to His voice, alert to His Spirit, and strong enough to carry His presence. That means the standard for you will always be higher. The Spirit will always be stricter with you than with those around you, because your destiny demands it. And here is the truth. The cleaner the temple, the stronger the flow of God within it. The more you guard what enters your body and spirit, the clearer you'll hear God's whispers. The more you honor your temple, the greater the power you'll carry. The Spirit's no today is not punishment. It's preparation for the authority you're about to walk in. Chapter 4. Not all tables are safe to sit. At Chosen One, sometimes the Spirit's warning isn't just about the food. It's about the table itself. The food may look delicious, the invitation may sound honorable, but the Spirit asks who prepared it, who invited you, what atmosphere surrounds it. Not all tables are safe, and not every invitation is a blessing. In the Bible, Daniel was offered the king's delicacies, rich food, wine, the very best that Babylon had to offer. To the natural eye, it looked like favor. Who wouldn't want to sit at the king's table? But Daniel discerned something deeper. He knew that eating from that table would defile him, not just physically, but spiritually. The food had been dedicated to idols. The table carried compromise. And by refusing the invitation, Daniel preserved his purity and opened the door to supernatural wisdom, favor, and elevation. The same applies to you, Chosen One. The Spirit may tell you not to eat because the table itself was never meant for you. Some tables are places of fellowship, but others are places of entanglement. Some invitations come with hidden strings attached, compromise, manipulation, or control. A seat at the wrong table can look like elevation, but actually serve as entrapment. Ask yourself, why were you invited? What is the true purpose of this gathering? What spirits linger in this atmosphere? Sometimes the Spirit will stop you, not because the food is poisoned, but because the conversation at the table is poisoned. The energy, the intentions, the alliances, it's all designed to pull you out of alignment. Chosen One, this is why the Spirit whispers, don't go, don't sit, don't eat. You were not called to every table. You were not chosen to fit in everywhere. And truth be told, the enemy knows the power you carry. So he sets up tables that look appealing, but are meant to dilute your influence, weaken your focus, or compromise your identity. Remember this, when you accept a seat at the wrong table, you silently agree to fellowship with its source. And fellowship is never neutral. It's either lifting your spirit higher or pulling you lower. That's why the psalmist said, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." Notice, it is God who prepares the right table. You don't chase it. You don't force it. You don't manipulate your way to it. When the table is from God, it comes with peace, alignment, and favor, without hidden chains. By saying no to the wrong tables, you protect your assignment. You keep your spirit untainted, your energy pure, and your focus sharp. And though it may feel like you're missing out, heaven sees you're being set apart. Chosen One, the truth is this: your calling is too great to be compromised by counterfeit opportunities. The Spirit will always guard you from tables that were never yours to sit at. So the next time you feel that inner resistance, don't override it. It's not paranoia, it's prophecy. God is saying that table is not for you. I've prepared one already that no enemy can touch. And when you wait for His table, you won't just be a guest. You'll be honored in the presence of those who once doubted you. Chapter 5. Spiritual warfare hides in ordinary places. Chosen One. The enemy doesn't always come with horns and fire. He doesn't always show up with obvious weapons or loud threats. Many times his attacks are hidden in the ordinary, in the very things people overlook. That's why you must stay spiritually awake. Warfare is often disguised as something casual, normal, or harmless. Food offered with hidden malice. Conversations dripping with subtle poison. Entertainment that seems fun, but carries corruption. All of these can be spiritual entry points. To the natural eye, they look innocent. To the untrained ear, they sound harmless. But to the spirit within you, they are red flags. The Spirit sees what your eyes cannot. And that sudden heaviness in your chest, or that quiet warning in your heart, wasn't paranoia. It was divine protection. The enemy is strategic. His goal isn't always to destroy instantly. Sometimes he works slowly, patiently, almost unnoticeably. He tries to weaken you through gradual erosion, not sudden destruction. A little compromise here, a small distraction there, a casual yes to something God told you to refuse. Each piece adds up until your discernment is dulled, your focus is blurred, and your spirit feels heavy. That is how subtle warfare works. This is why God sharpens your discernment. That inner voice that said, "Don't eat it, don't watch it, don't stay there," was not fear. It was protection. It was God placing a hedge around you, stopping what looked ordinary from becoming an open door. What others laughed off, you took seriously. And because of that, you dodged traps designed to weaken your spirit. Understand this, chosen one. The enemy knows he cannot easily defeat someone walking in obedience and prayer. So instead, he tries to slip into your daily habits. He plants snares in what you consume, who you spend time with, and what you agree to. He tries to erode your spiritual sharpness slowly, until you no longer hear the Spirit clearly. But every time you obey that still, small voice, you shut the door to erosion before it even begins. Your obedience is warfare. Every time you say no to something that looks harmless but feels wrong, you win a battle in the Spirit. Every time you guard your body, your mind, and your atmosphere, you resist erosion. The victory isn't just in dramatic deliverance moments, it's in the daily decisions you make. So pay attention to the ordinary, because that is where extraordinary battles are often fought. Remember, warfare doesn't always wear armor. Sometimes it wears a smile, a plate of food, or a casual conversation. And when you choose obedience over compromise, you stop the enemy's plan before it ever takes root. Chosen one, the truth is this. God is teaching you to see beyond the surface. What looks small to man is a major battlefield in the Spirit. And because you've obeyed, you've preserved your strength for the bigger assignments ahead. Chapter 6. Obedience opens the door to greater discernment. Chosen one. Every time you listen to the Spirit and obey, even when it doesn't make sense, you strengthen your spiritual sight. Obedience is not just about avoiding danger. It's about sharpening your ability to recognize God's voice. Each act of obedience becomes a stepping stone that lifts you to higher levels of clarity. Think about Noah. There had never been rain on the earth. Yet he obeyed God's instruction to build an ark. People mocked him, laughed at him, and called him foolish. But his obedience saved generations. The same principle applies to you. When you refused to eat what the Spirit told you not to, it may have seemed like a small decision to others, but in heaven, it was recorded as faith. You proved in that moment that you trust God over your appetite, over people's opinions, and over appearances that seem harmless. And here is the mystery. Every time you choose obedience, heaven opens another layer of discernment to you. God begins to trust you with deeper secrets, because you've shown that you won't treat his warnings lightly. Just as a parent gives more responsibility to a child who listens, God expands your authority and your sensitivity when you obey. What was once a whisper becomes a clear instruction. What was once a faint feeling becomes undeniable confirmation. Your obedience today isn't just about the food or the table. It's training for larger assignments. By saying no in private, you are preparing yourself to say yes to bigger missions in public. The small test today builds the foundation for greater responsibilities tomorrow. That's why you can't afford to ignore the Spirit's nudges. Each time you obey, you step deeper into alignment with your purpose. Chosen one. Discernment is not gifted overnight. It is sharpened. Chapter 6. Obedience opens the door to greater discernment, chosen one. Every time you listen to the Spirit and obey, even when the instruction doesn't make sense in the natural, you strengthen your spiritual sight. Obedience is not just about avoiding danger. It's about sharpening your ability to recognize the subtle voice of God in a loud and distracting world. Each act of obedience is like sharpening a blade. The more you obey, the sharper your discernment becomes and the clearer your path is lit. Think about Noah. There had never been rain on the earth, yet he obeyed God's instruction to build an ark. To those around him it was foolish, unnecessary, and laughable. But Noah's obedience preserved his life and the destiny of his bloodline. In the same way, your obedience today, though it may look small or unnecessary to others, carries generational weight. You may never fully know the destruction you just avoided, because you listened, but heaven does. What looks like a simple no in the physical realm is often a resounding yes to life, destiny, and divine alignment in the spiritual realm. When you refuse to eat what the Spirit told you not to, that act of obedience proved that you trust God over your appetite, over social pressure, and over the illusions of appearances. It was not about the food itself, but about your posture of surrender. By obeying, you demonstrated that your ears are tuned to heaven's frequency more than to the noise of people. That obedience was not overlooked. It was recorded as faith. And every time you respond in faith, you draw closer to the heart of God. Chapter 7. Gratitude for what you escaped. Finally, chosen one, take a moment to thank God for the unseen protection that surrounds you. You may never fully know what was hidden in that meal, what strings were attached to that offer, or what traps lay at that seemingly innocent table. But heaven knows, every no you heard in your spirit, every hesitation, every sense of unease was not coincidence. It was divine intervention. Your obedience saved you from more than just physical harm. It protected your mind, your spirit, and your destiny. Gratitude is the key that keeps your heart humble and your discernment sharp. When you thank God for what you didn't touch, you reinforce your awareness and strengthen the connection between your spirit and His Spirit. This gratitude also opens your heart to receive more of God's wisdom and favor in every area of life. Think about it. The things you avoided today may have seemed small, but in the spiritual realm they were massive. That plate you refused could have carried contamination you didn't see. That invitation you declined could have brought compromise into your path. That table you walked away from could have been a snare disguised as fellowship. Every warning from the Spirit has purpose beyond your understanding. Every warning from the Spirit, every whisper of caution is life-saving. The Spirit is your divine shield, your silent guide, and your guardian in places others walk blindly. You are not being paranoid, you are being preserved. And as you move forward, chosen one, remember, not everything is for you. Not every table is yours, and not every plate is pure. So let your gratitude flow, not just for what you received, but for what you avoided. Gratitude keeps your heart sensitive to God's voice and strengthens the spiritual muscles that discern traps before they appear. Chosen one, move forward with eyes wide open, spirit alert, and heart thankful. Every no you obey is a shield. Every warning you heed is a step closer to destiny. And remember, the Spirit's protection today is the seed for your favor and blessings tomorrow. Chosen one, the Spirit told you not to eat it for a reason. What you consume has consequences, and your destiny is too great to be compromised by hidden traps. You obeyed, and that obedience became your shield. As you move forward, stay sensitive, stay alert, and trust the voice within, because every no guided by the Spirit is not loss, it's protection.